Sam Wilson is back for an all-new Captain America film, Brave New World. So today, let's see if it's worth your time. Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident after meeting with President Thaddeus Ross. He must soon discover the reason behind a global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. My expectations for Brave New World were incredibly low due to all the reshoots. I didn't think that this film had much faith in itself, but I was pleasantly surprised with this movie, probably because my expectations were severely low.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I came out of the theater really happy with the outcome of this movie. Now I can see where certain reshoots worked within this film and they wanted to change a little bit of the plot, which we'll get to a little bit later in this review. But what works for this film is Anthony Mackie once again as Captain America. I thought he was navigating becoming Captain America very well within this film. The taking on that mantle, the pressure of being Captain America, he wants to be like Steve Rogers. He wants to live up to that potential and how Steve Rogers believed in him, but he wants to hold on to his own identity. And that balance works so well within this movie. We see that complex storyline for Sam Wilson being Captain America, but being himself and holding on to who he is and his own style of fighting, staying true to who he is as a person. I really liked how they were able to navigate that within this film. It added much more depth to Sam Wilson as a character and a better understanding of who he is, and seeing that leadership role that he could take on. And President Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford, also believes in him as well. Harrison Ford works within here. They're able to get a more emotional performance from Harrison Ford within this film. Seeing what he is going through as well, some of his backstory starts to affect him becoming the Red Hulk, but also that he has a lot on his plate as well. It's not a super deep performance from Harrison Ford, but I thought it overall worked. And a big stand-up for me is Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres. He wants to take on the role as the Falcon. They have a lot of great chemistry, him and Anthony Mackie, that adds for a lot of humor within the film. So seeing Joaquin Torres step into this new role and possibly being more involved with the MCU moving forward. This has a great conspiracy thriller feel to it. With those reshoots, they wanted to incorporate several other MCU films. At times it serves as a sequel to The Incredible Hulk with Tim Blake Nelson's character. It introduces new elements to the Eternals. You also have moments of Black Widow within this film as well. And I think they did a nice job positioning Sam Wilson into this movie when you look at it being a sequel to The Incredible Hulk. Finally looking at what happened to Tim Blake Nelson's character, the effects of that, and then also tying in Ross and the consequences of everything involving Ross and Tim Blake Nelson's character. Sam is in the middle of it all, but now seeing that he's more connected to the government, it makes sense to have him take on this role and fight previous characters that were in the MCU. But that conspiracy feel to it is there. When you start to look at characters that are working in the shadows, what is connected in the government, how far people will go to get revenge on others, it's a nice feel to it. It's not as thrilling as Winter Soldier, but it has a more grounded approach to the government and conspiracies within it, and seeing how Sam can navigate everything within this film. And the action is filmed nicely as well. Really intense Red Hulk scene. I didn't think we'd get a lot of it within this film. Based on the trailer, I anticipated it wasn't going to be a large amount of the movie, but all of the moments with Captain America and his new equipment and all the action, I enjoyed it. It was a step forward for Captain America. Understanding we're not going to get that typical Steve Rogers action. We're going to get new things moving forward, and he has to rely on technology because he doesn't have the serum to be like Steve Rogers or Bucky. So he has to rely on other elements to be as heroic within this movie. But it's a nice feeling once again to connect to previous MCU entries, where a lot of what's currently going on with these phases just seem very disjointed and out of place now that we have Captain America exploring characters that were in the Incredible Hulk, finally addressing things in the Eternals, connecting it to Black Widow. I feel like we're kind of moving to the Avengers films, and President Ross wants Sam Wilson to restart the Avengers. I feel like we're starting to gain momentum. Now, I wish that this film would have been released a few films ago so we can have a chance to have these characters that could possibly be part of the Avengers. And with only 2 more films coming out before the next Avengers film, I feel like that team is growing that will be explored in the next Avengers film. So it's a little bit out of place, but I am excited to see Captain America more involved in the MCU moving forward. Real quick, if you're interested in Captain America Brave New World, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have seen the film, comment down below with your overall thoughts on the movie. And if you'd like to see more exclusive content from me coming in 2025, consider joining my channel as a member, and there you can unlock exclusive movie reviews and ranking videos. I do feel those reshoots. I do feel that certain elements to the story really feel like they were just pushed into the movie so we could have elements explored in future MCU films, especially when it comes to certain sequences involving what happened in the Eternals. But when you focus on Captain America and his struggles of being like Steve Rogers but having his own identity, that is really gripping. And you have it as a sequel to the Incredible Hulk, I like that. But certain elements also feel like they are just really just disjointed. I really feel like there's that cohesive feel to everything when you start to pile on multiple storylines within this movie. You also have to look at Isaiah Bradley, which I loved in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he's so cool within this movie as well. But you start to pile things on top of each other, and you can see where those reshoots, they wanted to feel that certain scenes were more important than others, and they were just kind of throwing them into the mix of everything when it really didn't feel like it needed to be there. You could tell that they wanted to have certain moments so that they could explore it in future MCU films, but they didn't feel had that trust for its main storyline, and you could tell that's where they wanted to try to introduce new things, and it didn't really feel like it had that potential or that confidence to shine within the movie. So if you were to kind of peel back on certain storylines and have more trust in the moments with the Incredible Hulk sequel, I think that would have fully worked, and it might have been just a little bit better. But I did like this movie a lot. My expectations were low, and it paid off. And seeing Sam Wilson gain his confidence, become that character that everybody loves, and taking on that mantle, it's a good storyline. And I really like Sam Wilson as Captain America, and then all the other minor characters within this film. Some characters feel a little bit underused, like Giancarlo Esposito. I think they could have done a lot more with him because he was menacing within this film. They didn't do much with him, but everything else, I liked this movie. It's kind of like the middle ground for MCU for me. It's not the best thing they ever put out, but certainly not the worst thing ever. But I am looking forward to seeing more Sam Wilson in the MCU and taking charge of the Avengers and building to the next Avenger films. I'm going to go ahead and give Captain America Brave New World a B. Thank you guys for watching my review for Captain America Brave New World. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.